is a lifeline. You still don't believe me? Step back. I got
you! Final destination, Bloodlines. One mistake, death comes. They say death moves quietly, like a breeze under a door. It doesn't shout, it doesn't warn. But in some bloodlines, it waits. And when it comes, it doesn't leave until it's finished. Fade into a gray, overcast sky. A narrow road cuts through a dead forest. It began with a letter. No return address, no sender. Just a name printed in ink that seemed to smear if you looked too long. The Marrow Estate. 5 individuals received it, each in a different city, each alone when it arrived. The letter was brief, an invitation, or perhaps a command. You are requested at the reading of the final will of Eloise Marrow. Attendance is mandatory. None of them knew the name, but something inside compelled them to go. The Marrow Estate stood isolated, silent, rotting, a structure more shadow than stone. The 5 guests arrived one by one. Lisa, Jordan, Evelyn, Caleb, and Marcus. They were not friends, they were not relatives, or so they thought. A woman in gray, whose name was never spoken, welcomed them with eyes that never blinked. "You have come," she said, as it was written. She handed them each a folder. Inside, a family tree, a lineage they never knew. They were all connected by blood, distant, faint, forgotten, but connected. They stayed overnight. The reading would happen in the morning. That evening, Jordan wandered into the West Wing, a room sealed by rusted chains. The lock was old, brittle. He didn't need much force to break it. Inside, an altar, dusty and untouched for decades. Symbols carved in the wood, dried petals, a vial, half filled with something dark and thick. He touched it, laughed nervously. "Looks like someone took this stuff way too seriously," he said. And then he dropped it. No one heard it break, but every clock in the house stopped ticking at that moment. The next morning, Jordan didn't come down for breakfast. They found him in the bathtub, eyes wide open, neck twisted at an unnatural angle. There was no blood, no wounds, just silence. Lisa called the police. The line buzzed, then cut. No signal, no response. The woman in gray stood by the window. "He made the first mistake," she whispered. "Now the others will follow." The house grew colder. The fire no longer lit. Doors opened by themselves. Caleb swore he heard footsteps in the attic, but there was no attic. Evelyn found a journal tucked inside a hollow wall, written by a woman named Agnes Marrow, 1894. "The curse returns when the blood forgets. If one breaks the seal, the chain begins. One dies, then another, until balance returns." They read it in silence. Then they looked at each other. That night, Evelyn stayed up reading. Her candle flickered. She reached for the journal again, but it wasn't there. She stood, walked to the window. Something moved beneath the trees. She opened the door, walked outside, slowly. The wind stopped. The air was still. She reached the path and slipped. The others found her the next morning. Her eyes, too, were open, like she'd seen something in the dark. 3 remained: Lisa, Marcus, Caleb. They argued. One wanted to leave, one wanted to stay. Marcus paced the halls. His voice echoed strangely. "We didn't do anything wrong." The woman in gray appeared behind him. Being born was enough. Lisa explored the basement, found old tapes marked Marrow files. She played one, a black and white recording of a child being questioned. Do you see it? Yes. What does it look like? It doesn't look like anything, it waits. She rewound, played it again. The child's voice didn't match the lips. Behind her, something moved in the shadows. Caleb tried to leave. The car wouldn't start. No signal, no light on the road. He walked down the path. It stretched longer than it should. He turned around. The house was gone. Only trees. They found him at dawn, standing in the garden, completely still. His heart had stopped. No injury, no sign of struggle, just stillness. Lisa and Marcus were the last. They stayed in the main hall, lights flickering. The woman in gray spoke again. One of you must choose. One must stay. One must leave. The blood must be given. They didn't understand. They didn't want to. Lisa ran. Marcus didn't stop her. She fled the estate, through the woods, through the rain. Lisa made it back to the road. A truck passed. She screamed. They stopped. She got inside, shaking, silent. The driver asked where she came from. She hesitated. The Marrow place, she said. The driver's hands tightened on the wheel. That place? Didn't think anyone lived there anymore. Marcus stayed, sat in the chair by the fireplace. The woman in gray poured tea. You were brave, she said, but the blood isn't done. He looked at his hands. They were shaking. On the wall, a clock ticked again. The curse waits, sometimes for decades, sometimes for days, but always for blood. One mistake is enough. One broken seal, one forgotten name, and it begins again.